So we're going to take you on a little tour of GEMS 3.0 software. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We will um, we will take questions at the end. But let's go ahead and open the software and give you a look at the software itself. And I have today, yes, my faithful colleague Heather here is going to help us. Heather, can we get it to be a little bit bigger? Okay, so we are here in our GEM system. This is a demo account for us to share with you. So you might see things that you recognize and may not. And this is the dashboard. So when you log in, you're going to come in here on your dashboard. I can already see that I am a participant in two different companies. One of the really exciting things about GEMS 3.0 is that your account and your participation in companies are two distinct things. So for me, I'm a grant writing consultant. I can have my consulting firm with multiple clients, portfolios managed in one account. And I also can be a member of another company. So if I have a client who has their own GEMS account, they can invite me to be a part of their GEMS account, and it's going to show up here on the dashboard. If I was a subcontractor that worked for two different consulting firms, I can be a member of each of those companies, and all of my work in both of those companies will merge here on my dashboard. Maybe I'm a staff grant writer during the day and I moonlight and I write grants as a consultant at night. Again, I can have all of that here. So it's really exciting. You don't need to have multiple accounts in GEMS. Your one account will pull the tasks that are assigned to you from all of the companies that you participate in and pull them and put them right here on your dashboard. So I can see anything that's assigned to me coming due in the next 30 days. I can also see what we call subtasks, which are tasks that are associated with my other tasks. It might be a report, might be a funder webinar, maybe it's an LOI, maybe it's a site visit, but I can track all of those subtasks that go with my tasks. I can also see everything that's assigned to any of my teammates. And as you can see there, I can see what the task is, who the funder is, what kind of a task it is. And if I were to click on any one of those, it would take me directly to that task. I can also, there you go, takes me right to the task. So if I'm ready to work on something, I can get right in there and I can start working on it. My dashboard will also show me any recently left comments by anyone on my team. It'll show me if I have anything overdue. Hopefully you don't. Our GEMS account seems to be on top of all of their work too, which is lovely. And I can also see what time trackers I have running. Those are those bars over there on the left. So in GEMS, you'll be able to track your time in every single one of your tasks. So you no more do you need to have an independent time tracker software. GEMS is a all-in-one solution. Okay, so that's our dashboard. We're going to jump right in now, and I'm going to show you what it looks like once you get into the platform itself. So we're going to go into my consulting firm. In here, I'm managing multiple clients. Let's see, does it pull them up? Can you show me my clients? There we go. I've got three different clients that I'm managing in here. And I also have what we call a work plan, which is your portfolio for each of your clients. I also have one for my firm itself. So I can use this software as project management software for my company as well. So let's go ahead and jump into one of our clients. And you see that there's a place to track information for your clients. Here I can keep information straight on the organization itself. I have comments where I can communicate with my team, but I also have some basic information that's really important about each of the organizations I work with. If I were a staff grant writer, I would have the information about the organization that I work at. The members tab is going to show me who that is a user in my GEMS software has access to this particular work plan or client portfolio. You do have the flexibility to restrict. So if you're a consulting firm and you have a subcontractor that works strictly with one particular organization, you can restrict them to that work plan. It's got a place for me to track my board information. So I've got all that. I have a place to track my staff information and all their contact information. I also can leave notes, and I can leave multiple notes. I can put mentions and links in my notes. They're all live links. If I mention someone, it's going to send them a notification. Can you show that up in the top little corner for me, please, really quick? So anytime I mention anyone throughout the system, they're going to get a little notification. You can mark it as read. You can delete it when you're done with it. I also can upload files. So this is a great place for me to onboard those typical attachments that I need, org charts, um, board charts, 990s, audits, annual reports, 501c3 status, all sorts of things I can upload here. And you'll see throughout the system that in each of these panels, the system creates an automatic historical record of the activity. So the history button here is going to show any history that's related with edits to the work plan, but you'll see it throughout, and it will date and timestamp it and show which user made the changes. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at projects really quick. So we have work plans, which is essentially an agency's portfolio. And for each agency, you have projects. These are areas of funding. So we see that one of our clients here has a neighborhood cleanup project. Let's see, which client is this? All right. So client number one, our environmental organization, they have two funding areas. They have a neighborhood cleanup project and a green initiative. Maybe they have capacity building. Maybe they write for capacity building or operating funds or a facade improvement program or beach cleanups or whatever they do, they can create project portfolios here. For each project, let's go ahead and go into one. You can assign users that are allowed to have access to that project. So again, if you are a nonprofit using GEMS and you have a program director, you can assign them access just to their program and they don't need to see everything that's going on for all the other programs in the agency. If you're a grant consultant and you have a subcontractor that works specifically on one project, you can assign them to that project. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to have people assigned only where they need to have access. Okay, you can enter in your project budget. So you're going to create your project. You can put in all of your expenses. This will set you up to be able to track revenues every time a grant comes in. You'll be able to say which line items that particular grant covers, and it will automatically deduct it from your overall project budget for the year. So at any period of time, you'll be able to see where your budget gaps are, your funding gaps, and it also allows you to do spend down feature. So you'll be able to use this project budget to manage project revenues, project expenses, and revenues and expenses per particular grant award. Okay, let's move on. You can put contacts in for the projects. We don't have any here, but if you have particular staff that work on that project, files for that project. So I want to upload, we've got a client tracking sheet or an impact report or support letters or program flow charts or I don't know, program overviews, anything that's related to the program, you can upload those documents here. You can also track who on the team has access to this, and you have your history tab, like I showed you under the work plan. Okay, so that's our projects. Now we're going to talk about funders. So GEMS is going to keep straight our organizational information, our project information, also our funder information. So it gives you a funder database mechanism. So here's all of my funders. I have a lot of things that I can see about them. Show them the settings if you would. I can choose what information about my funders I want to show. You can see a lot of them are hidden right now. But I can put in their website, their portal. My favorite is the portal. You don't need to keep track of those portals on Post-it notes all over your desk anymore. The portal can go right into your funder record, and you can click on it and it'll take you there. So it's really great. So this is basically a funder database for you. Go ahead and click on one of our funders. One of my favorite things about GEMS 3.0 is you'll notice that you have an overview details panel, and it gives us all that information about my funder. But on the bottom, what I really love is that it has a little task shortcut. So if I click on this, don't do it yet though, Heather, it will take me to the task or the opportunity that's related to this particular foundation. But before I want to do that, I just want to show you the tabs that's here for funders. We have something new for funders, which is a call log. So the call log is where you can keep track of any conversations with the funder. This is really great because if all of your team uses the GEMS, then you won't ever be like out of touch with what's happened with a funder. So if you guys put your communications in here, even if I wasn't the last person to talk to the funder, I can see what the last conversation was that they had with someone on our team. Any comment that you put in the call log when you hit save, it always puts the most recent comment at the top. So it will keep that conversation current for you. It does date and time stamp it. It will also tell you which team member left the message in case you need to follow up. So that's the call log. You also have contacts for your funders. So you can put in your grant administrators, your funder executive directors. You can put in as many contact as you want. You also have notes. And now this is one of my favorites. The notes in the funders. I don't know if we have another funder that has notes. If you want to pull one up, whether you can. But the notes is really great because like personally, I work in Drive a lot and we work on drafts in Drive. So we might have something that we want to link to them. We like to put our funder, our portal login information in the note. So anyone with access to the system, if they need to get into the portal, they can. You know, if something happens to me tomorrow, my clients' revenues will not suffer because all of the information is in GEMS. And, you know, I can look at an organization's 990s and I can see when their development person or their grant writer left because they take so much institutional knowledge with them that there's always a dip in revenues. So having all of this information in GEMS really does preserve institutional memory. We had a GEMS user tell us a story once about how they had one grant writer on maternity leave and another out sick, and they were able to coordinate perfectly their work because everything was in GEMS. You know, it also eliminates the need to have meetings, eliminates a lot of emails because all of the information is here. You can find it, you can mention each other, and we do have a chat feature up in the upper right-hand corner where you can have conversations with your team members. But yeah, there's your chat. Okay, so, but we're here in our notes. So you can leave multiple notes. Again, you can mention people in the notes. You can put links. If you mention someone, they will get that notification. It also goes to their email if they choose to get notifications that way. You can add files. So I love to do this when I have when we're doing funder research. Remember, we said that good grant management starts at funder research. We want to make sure that we get their 990, their annual report. When we get an award from a funder, we get their logo, we load it up here. So we're able to keep any documentation that's relevant to the funder as an entity. They have their own place for files. And again, we have our history button. So that's pretty much the information on funders. You can batch upload funders. You can batch download funders. I had a client recently who changed executive directors and they asked me, you know, who should we be sending a letter to? So in lickety split, I pulled up a report of all of the funders who had funded us in the last 2 years. I then marked them all as I gave them a note for the new CEO letter, and then I filtered by that and I generated a list and downloaded it to CSV and sent it over to my clients. They were super happy. and it didn't take me very long. Also, in our funder records, as you're seeing here, we do have the system is international. So phone numbers are automatically going to format based on the country that the number is from. You can pick any currency in the world. So if you have a funder that funds in a different currency than others, you can track that here. Those of you that work in a global space, this is really good. You can choose your date format, your time format. So you can, the system, and the addresses are all Google Map points. So again, they're going to format in the correct format of that location. So it's very global in the way that it stores information. Okay, so that's the information that we have about our funders, keeps everything straight. Now we're going to go and explore that little shortcut button, which I love. So we have one task associated with the Bank of America Charitable Foundation. And if I click on it, it's just going to take me back to that grant. And I can see that it was due in September. Looks like we already closed that one out. And I have all the information on that particular grant. Let's go ahead and open it. And we'll show people what's in a task record. So this is what we call a task. Most tasks are grants, but they don't have to be. We have all kinds of different kinds of tasks. It could be a report, it could be an LOI, it could be coaching or training. You can also make your own custom statuses and your own custom types. So you can create a type of task that you typically do. But this one is an application, and most of them are going to be applications because that's what we're in the business of. We're in the business of managing our grant applications. So inside it, you can see the information that it holds, all these details about the application, who created it, who assigned it, who it's assigned to, what its status is, its priority, what client or agency it's associated with, what project, what funder, and you'll notice that there are shortcuts to go back to either your program, your work plan, or your funder right from your task. It also will track information on this overview panel. So if it gets approved, it'll record when it was approved and by whom and for how much. When it's awarded, it'll record all that information. If it's denied, so depending on the status of the task, it will record pertinent information and it will leave it here in the details panel for you. For each of our tasks, we have a tab that allows us to create subtasks, and you can have as many subtasks as you want. Heather, why don't you go ahead and just write something in there? I mean, this grant's been closed out, but just for sake of demo, we'll show you that. So here's where you can write a task for yourself, whether it's a report or a site visit or anything. This is a follow-up letter. You can assign it to anyone on the team. You can give it its due date, give it its status, its priority status, and then you're going to hit save. And then it's going to show up in your list of things to do. It's also showing up here because it shows you that it's a task associated with this Bank of America Youth Grant. We also have notes here, but we don't have any for this one. Files and history, just like we saw it earlier. So it keeps all of your information in one place. One other thing that I didn't show you is that each of these tasks has a time tracker. So let's say I came in here and I'm going to work on this grant. Whether I'm doing grant management or grant writing, I can turn on my time tracker and it will keep track of the amount of time that I worked on this particular task. Maybe I'm working on budget development or narrative development or I'm proofing or whatever it is that I'm doing, it doesn't matter. I can track my time. Everyone else on my team can track their time. I, as the owner of the account or the administrator of the account, can see everyone's time. Other users on the account can only see their own time. But for an admin, I can see cumulatively, how long did my team take to write this grant? Was it worth applying for? I can track that all year, and I can track how much time do we spend managing this grant. How much time did we spend preparing or participating in site visits, reports, data collection? And then I'm able to have a much better educated idea of, do I want to apply for this again next year? Was it a good return on my investment? Um, did I spend more time working on the grant than money I got? So those are all questions. Also, from a consultancy perspective, I can track my subcontractors or my employees' work. I can see how efficient each person is at each task. I can see who spends more time on budget development. Who should I be delegating things to? I can use it as part of an evaluative tool. So there's a lot of wonderful things here. I had a client once who brought on a new advancement director, and she sent the advancement director to the GEMS and said, go pull up these 5 grants. It said, those will tell you all that you need to know about those particular programs. So this particular client used GEMS as a way to onboard other employees. Again, remember, I told you it's going to have your institutional memory. So it's really great. All this information is there. As you move it through different statuses, it will ask you different information to track that grant. When I'm done working on this grant, I can go ahead and turn off my time tracker. If I want to, I can pause it and work on multiple things. But when I'm done, I can turn it off. If you're like me, maybe you forgot to turn it on time, or you forgot to turn it off. That's not a problem. You can go ahead and edit the time right from that screen, and then you can save it. All right. So let's go ahead and create a new task. You can duplicate tasks. Go ahead and create a new task. They can watch you while they listen to me. One of my award management protocols is that when we get an award in, we duplicate that task right away. Hey, if I got that money this year, I want to reapply for it the next time I'm allowed to. So you can go right into GEMS and you can hit duplicate task and it will reproduce that task for you. You pick the new deadline, you can reassign it, change the priority status, and bada bing, bada boom, it's already in your work plan. I used to spend like a weekend with a bowl of popcorn once a year going, okay, what are we going to work on next year? You don't have to do that anymore. Once you have GEMS and you're using it consistently, you can just add things to your work plan as you go, and your work plan or your annual grant seeking strategy will build itself. So as you can see, she's adding a new task here for us. This is going to add it to the work plans list as well as the individual people that it's assigned to. I don't know if you noticed, but you can assign tasks to multiple people in GEMS. So if you've got multiple people that are working on different parts, that's fine. You can assign that to multiple people. And then you hit save. So it's really that simple. We're here in the task, but maybe we want to get back to that funder portal information. So I'm going to click on my shortcut to my funder, and then I'll go to my notes if you do it that way, and there'll be a note with the portal login, and I can get right in. Maybe I needed to check out their call log while I'm writing the application. I can do that. Or I want to get to their website, get some language. It's all at my fingertips. So I've shown you how you can manage the client information, the projects that they seek funding for, the funders from whom they seek funding, and the particular tasks that you have to do. Now I want to show you our library, where is all of those documents that we've been uploading under work plans, tasks, projects, and funders. They all live in the library. You can search for a particular document, or we have this really special feature called Smart Search, where you can search for text within a document. So my recommendation is that you upload a final copy of everything you do, every report, every application, every LOI, because if you're like me, you're writing a grant, you're like, oh, I just answered this question, or I answered another question, but I can use most of that. But then you got to think about, what application was that in? And oh, I know which one, but then you go get it and you read through the whole thing and it's not there. So you don't have to do that anymore. You just do a search in our smart search feature here in the library, and it's going to pull up any document that has that keyword search in it. You can copy and paste and quick, be on your way to the next task. So here in the library, you can see that it automatically makes folders for me about my funders, my projects, my work plan, and my task. If you open up any one of those, open up either tasks or funders, you'll see inside there is a folder for each funder, and inside there will be the documents that I uploaded to that funder. Same thing with tasks. Inside the task, there's going to be a folder for each task, and it will have in it any of the documents that I uploaded to that task. Now, the library is automatically generating this filing system for me. So it's really great. I can add to it though. I can add a folder or I can upload additional files. The other thing that we can upload into our library is what we call a library item. Now, a library item is not necessarily a document, but it might be a link, it might be some quote or text. I like to do this for research articles. I can put the name of the particular thing that I'm uploading. I can put a quote from it. I can link it. And what's really great about anything I put in the library is it will give me its word and character count. So for each of my organizations, I like to upload into the library my 500 character mission statement, my 1,500 character mission statement, my 2,500 character mission statement. I can just filter, find it, copy, and be on my way. My favorite sustainability answer, or that answer about how you manage, funds. There you go. Those answers don't really change very much. You can save that text. You can go grab it when you need it. Okay, so the last two things I'm going to show you is our reports. Let's go first to the time tracker. Now, time tracker is going to pull up by this week, but I can change it to any time period I want. I can look at the month, I can look at the quarter, I can look at the year. You can use the time tracker for billing purposes. If you're a consultant and you do bill by the hour, you can download it and bill directly to your clients from here. But it's way more than a billing system. For us, the time tracker is a productivity tool. Here is where you can see how long things take, how long things take certain people. You can filter out the results by project, so we can see how much time did we spend on that project this year. Or I can filter it out by month. How much time did we spend on grant writing this month? And I can look at it by person. So again, I can use it as an evaluative tool when it's time for employee evaluations. Then we have our reports. GEMS has a built-in report function. It will automatically generate reports from the information that you input into your tasks. It has 5 automatically generated reports. You can access them right here on the Insights page. And the first is actually 2 different charts that looks at success rates. On the left, it's going to show you by proposal, and on the right, it's going to show you by dollar value for the proposals. So it shows you pending, awarded, and denied. You can see already that there are 8 proposals in play. We are looking at a year-to-date report. All of the reports are date-driven, and you can change the date in the upper left-hand corner where it says January 1st to December 31st, 2024. So again, this is a year to date, but you can do a report for any time period that suits you. You can do quarterly, you can do monthly. You don't need to spend hours preparing reports for your board or your supervisor or your clients anymore. These reports are going to be in the system at any time. You can just show people how to access them just by clicking the Insights page. So it does show us pending, awarded, and denied. Those colors are consistent with the statuses that you'll see throughout the system. And if you hover over it, it will give you the information on them. Again, on the right, it's going to show you dollar value. So those 5 awarded are equal to 250,000 in grant awards. Okay, the next chart is looking at all of our tasks. it's telling us that we have 20 tasks total in our system for the time period chosen, and it shows us the distribution of those tasks by status. If you hover over them, it will show you some information about those tasks, how much money is basically in play for those different applications at those different statuses. This chart is really great if you want to just see, what do we have going on? That's a pretty standard report that you need to make to other people. I also like to look at this in different time periods so that we can monitor the work and the workflow. And then the next chart actually takes the same information, but it breaks it down by project area. So remember that projects and GEMS are different funding areas. Those are the things that you are writing grants for. And this chart's really great because it's showing us how the tasks in play are distributed by status, by project area. So I really like this chart, especially when I'm doing grant strategy planning or I'm developing my strategy for the following year. Just by changing the date period, we can look at, do we have enough grants in play for each of our program areas? Purple is to do, is identified, a light purple is identified, and yellow is to do. So you're going to want to make sure if your date is a forward looking date, that you have enough items in each of your programmatic areas, either identified or to do, or you might find yourself a year from now without enough revenues in. We are still looking at year to date, so this is more of a report rather than for planning purposes, but we're able to see what's in play for each programmatic area. And when you click on one, it will give you a breakdown of all of those tasks. The next chart is requested versus awarded. The green is awarded, the shaded gray is requested. So you can see for each of your program areas how successful you've been at getting awarded the amount that you've asked for. So our free health screenings, while we've requested less money, it looks like we're at 100% success for that program. Okay. And then our last chart, automatically pre-populated chart, is funders. So it's telling us that of all of the funders that are in our database, these are the funders that have funded us within this time period, and it will show you the dollar amount received by each of those funders. Now, if you have a report that you want to make that's not one of these 5 automatically generated pre-populated reports, you can create your own reports from the task panel. We'll just take you back there really quickly and remind you that here in the list, you can use your dates as well in combination with your filters to create any sort of customized report that you'd like. And then you can even sort the order of that report by clicking at the top of the column, and then you just export it to CSV. In the top right, there's a little export button, and here you can make any customized report that you want with the information that's available to you in the task panel. This is also called our list view. And if you go to the settings, you can choose what you want to see in the list view. So go ahead and just change it a little bit, Heather, so they can see. So I can change that. I can also reorder the columns, and then I can export this to a CSV so I can really make any report that I want. The other thing is that I can change the list view to a calendar view. And if I click on those, they take me back as well, yes? Yep, there you go. And I can always see the status of them by the colors. The colors are really consistent throughout the whole system. So that's pretty much the basics. It does a lot more. Really, you can really refine your grant management practices and your team communications using GEMS. That's really a high level overview of its functionality. Um, and with that, I'm going to open for questions and answers. But before we do, I want to talk just a little bit about some other features that you get with GEMS. Can you put the slideshow back up for me?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention real quick before we move on that I really like is the task wizard. So when you're
Yeah.
moving the status of your grants along, so from identified to do, it's going to ask you questions as you change the status.
Yeah,
So
when you put something in as identified, it asks you why.
I love
How
that.
many,
Can't
how
miss
many
the
times? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I really love that because, you can't miss a beat with that because it's just making sure you're on top of managing the grant, taking the time to input all those little details that make the difference.
Yeah, and that save us time, right? Because again, when you're doing funder research and you put that reason in, you don't have to go, oh, why did we pick this one? And then you're going back to the website. It's just a waste of time. Here is when, if it gets suspended, you decide not to continue working on it, you can put why. Why did we suspend it? So that 6 months from now, you remember and you have someone that authorizes that. As a consultant, this is important for me because I want to make sure that I have proof that I was told not to do it, especially by my client. But also, if you are using GEMS within a single organization, it's great to track that information so that you don't have to go, no, anybody remember why we didn't do that one? Should we do it again? The reason is there. When you move something to pending, meaning you've submitted it, it will ask you when you submitted it, how you submitted it, who submitted it. So again, it has a nice wizard at every status. Thank you, Heather, for reminding me. Every change of status, it's going to remind you of things that you should probably be doing. So it's sort of like a little grant manager on your shoulder. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and talk about some other features. So we've got some benefits to GEMS users. First, we offer free coaching to all of our users, meaning you can sign up for a 20-minute coaching session anytime you want. We can talk about naming conventions or productivity tools or whatever you want. We have free quarterly master classes. People who come to a master class do get a credit toward their renewal. Um, we also offer credits for toward your renewal for referrals. We offer professional development support to our subscribers who want to attend conferences. So if you're a subscriber and you want to go to a local Association of Fundraising Professionals conference or a networking meeting, and you want to take GEMS with you, we will help you get there. Sometimes we'll underwrite your transportation or pay your hotel room or something like that. We're here to help our users and support the grant writing community. We also compensate subject matter experts that do presentations on our behalf. I feel particularly strongly about that. I've been invited by many other software or software tools to present for them for free, and they use my knowledge to sell their product, which I guess is fine, but I'm not compensated. And we feel strongly about not exploiting fellow grant writers, but rather supporting them. So people who present for us are compensated. And we also have live customer support from actual grant writers. Um, Anyone who answers your email or answers the phone are actual grant writers who use GEMS for their grant management. Okay. Anything else? Price. So Our price is the most reasonable price you're going to find on the market for this level of power. There are no other products really like GEMS on the market that will help you with this level of grant management. One grant that you don't lose because it was managed properly will pay your GEMS for years. The time that it saves you pays your GEMS for years. We do have a basic plan that is free that will allow you to get in there and try it out. It will give you one user, one work plan, and only one project. Once you need to move beyond that, you need to look at a pro plan, which will allow 3 users and 3 work plans. Also 2 inactive work plans. We didn't really talk about this, but you do have the capability to archive work plans. So if you have an organization that you only write 3 grants for a year, you can archive them when you're not working with them. The premium plan will give you up to 10 users and 10 work plans, and that's for $890 a month. And our enterprise plan is
A
our
year.
largest. Oh yeah,
These are
a year.
annual prices.
These are annual prices. Sorry about that, people. Annual prices. The enterprise plan, which is 25 users, unlimited work plans, comes with 2 free integrations, is less than $100 a month. So you can have our most robust plan, and it costs less than, many of your other softwares that do much less for you. Okay. Next, we're going to open it up to questions and answers. But before we do, I just want to throw up on the screen how you can get in touch with us if you have any other questions that we don't get answered today. You can check in with us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and also on YouTube. We have a lot of videos about the product, and we do have a lot more coming out for our new GEMS 3.0 coming out shortly. And with that, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you all for coming today. And if you have any questions, feel free to hang out and we'll be happy to answer them.